All right. So, hi, Kelly. How's it going?
Hi there, Dorian. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very well. First of all, I just like to thank you for taking the time, out of your busy day to talk with us. For those of you joining for the first time, my name's Dorian, and it's really nice to meet you. And thank you for coming on the podcast. So, I guess first things first, can you introduce yourself and Real Resilience, just so people can get a feel for you and the business?
Absolutely. So, hi there. I'm Kelly George, and I'm the founder and CEO of Real Resilience Coaching and Consulting.
And you talk about this gap, right? And this acknowledgement of, I guess, representation in the common workplace when it comes to neurodivergence. Was there any specific instance or story that sort of led you to the creation of Real Resilience? Or is it more like you said, just like a general, acknowledgement that there is this gap in resources and effort by businesses to accommodate for this sort of thing?
Well, of course, there's a story. And I mean, just to share, 1 in 4 folks identify as like having a disability or identifying as neurodivergent. So that's like almost 70 million people. So just to give you an idea of the scope of folks who are identifying under that umbrella. But the story really starts with me and my family, right? Like my family are immigrant parents from Panama and Trinidad, and in like Caribbean culture, we barely talk about like you should have mental health support from therapists and all these other people and doctors, right? We're like, let's go pray about it. Let's, at least in my family, let's just just pick yourself up and keep it moving if something's hard, right? And so there's really an intersection of thinking about mental health and neurodivergency as well, just because when we think about, for me at least, when I was growing up and like I came into this diagnosis in 2020, 2011 as a bipolar neurodivergent, and my mom was like, I don't even know what that is. But not only that, like you're a Black Latinx person in the world already. And so there are a lot of identities that are intersecting here and ones that are visible that could potentially, cause challenges or, perceptions, whether it's racial stress, whether it's microaggressions that sort of come along with being a person of color in this world. And so it was like, oh, we got to keep this a secret. Like, we can't tell anyone. My mom was like, we're not, like, don't even tell the other family members. And I was like, oh, this is hard, but also really shaming in some ways, right? And so for me, I didn't want to continue living in this like shameful piece of an identity that was really like invisible to others, but very, very noticeable and something that I had to care for and still care for in many different ways to me. And so, honestly, for 10 years, I didn't share this part of my identity for fear of shame. And I'm sure a lot of other folks out there have had similar pieces of their identity that they didn't want to share for fear of labels, stereotypes, criticisms, right? And so for me, I was like, you know what? Mom, family, I'm going to be loud and proud about this, right? Because I want to put it forth as a talent, as something that is a part of my identity that's going to bring difference in perspective, difference in the way I see the world and my lived experience. And so I was like, I'm telling I'm telling about this, and let's see what comes of it. And so yeah, that's where Real Resilience came in, and just wanting to also support folks who identify similarly.
Right. That's awesome. And now we have sort of the inspiration, like the origin story, I guess, of Real Resilience. But can you also go into, I guess, how we go from the acknowledgement, right, of the problem? It's kind of like the scientific method, right? So like you identify the problem, and then what were the first steps to creating Real Resilience? Like, how did the mindset go from, okay, this is a personal sort of issue that I'm having that's also affecting, millions of other people, and then how did that sort of translate into the business idea?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Real Resilience was born in 2021. So I guess we're about 4 years old. in 2025. And I guess it really was, first it was me wanting to just tell my story. So honestly, I just wanted to be a public figure, public speaker, and go out and be like, hey, look, this is what happened to me. Is there any inspiration or motivation that you can draw from this story to elevate or lift yourself? And so that's really where I started. And I was like, I'm also a certified project management professional. So in, I guess, 2020 and in 2019, I was working at the NFL in IT. And so like, this is very, very different worlds, really. And so for me, I was just like, oh, but something's tugging at me. 2020 was like this recalibrating. There's the Great Resignation. There's like so many pieces. And like shifts culturally that were happening where folks are like, hey, remote work is important, right? And, there's also neurodiversity intersects with disability and accessibility, right? So the rise of awareness around mental health and how we're like managing that, and work from home, and what is the future of work now, right? Now that folks are home and we're just making it happen. And so in all of those cultural sort of shifts that were happening, I kind of was just like, I want to jump on sharing this part of my story, and also hoping to inspire and share with other people. And really, that was the moment for me that sort of opened this world of maybe I'm going to be an entrepreneur.
That's so awesome. And, I guess this is sort of the part where I asked like about the fear, right? And like the difficulty that comes with taking that leap. Not only, I guess, from a personal perspective where you're sort of being out front and like open about, your own diagnosis at the time, and sort of like making that a big public part of the world, but also like taking the step to becoming like an entrepreneur and like a business owner. Can you talk a little bit about sort of the unknown and the leap of faith that's necessary for that?
Yes. Okay. So another fun fact about me, in 2021, I turned 35, and I was like, I'm leaving this other career behind for a moment. And I decided I was going to jump out of a plane. And that was like my momentous, we're not going back. We're doing this. I don't know what it's going to entail. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but this is what I decided. I want to take this path. And so like, for me, I like little sort of ways to like mark the moment. I'm very dramatic in that way. And that was my moment. And for me, I had no idea what being an entrepreneur would entail or being a business owner would entail. But I think it's always like the faith before the proof, right? Like you do things because something inside you is like, this is where we need to pivot to. And it doesn't reveal itself necessarily at that moment in time, why, or what are going to be the results, or what are you actually going to manifest, right? It's just the seed of, I think there's something I really want to do, that I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to take a risk, right? And so to be frank though, being a coach and being a professional certified coach is very different than like all of the, I guess, the necessary skills to be a business owner, right? Because now you're thinking about all the functions of a business, marketing, you're thinking about how are you even going to get people to know what you're doing, right? Why it's important. How are you going to get them to care? Who is the best audience to approach, right? For me, I was like, I really wanted to talk to emerging leaders because I felt like that was the time in my life where I would have loved to have a coach that would really be pouring into me with empowering questions, because your parents are going to tell you what they want you to do, right? Your friends are going to tell you what they want you to do. But the coach is there to really guide you in a way towards basically holding a mirror to what you want, right? And out of that, you come to your own insights, and I'm really just here to witness you and support, that journey. And so, but yeah, like being a coach, and then marketing and email lists and all of these other pieces sort of come in, and you kind of just have to figure it out. And one of my business coaches has always said, like, being an entrepreneur is like a spiritual journey of like you figuring out what you can do well, and really letting go of what you can't do well, right? And just being okay with that. Because sometimes we're like, oh, like, I really want to be great at marketing, so I'm going to take all these courses and try to figure it out. And then it'd be like, but it would be so much easier to just outsource this if you're the big idea person, right? Or, accounting, not my favorite. It's just not. And so why don't we just pull someone else in to support? And granted, it's at the beginning, whether you have tons of cash and you're starting with an influx, or you're just bootstrapping like I did and you're just like figuring it all out, you're really looking at all the offerings that, like, Start Small, Think Big was a really great program for me, where they really supported with the things that I couldn't do, accounting, and how do you create a legal document that for contracts, right? And so all of this stuff. And so really figuring out where your resources are, what your networks can offer. It's a journey.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And I appreciate you sort of acknowledging like the outsourcing and like not putting everything on your own plate, because there's so many people, I guess, who are under the impression that are like, oh, I have to do everything myself. Like, I'm starting it up. This is like, it's my baby, it's my business, like I have to put everything and all. I need to learn how to do all these sorts of different things. But I think you really used your strengths in your background in tech, to like sort of propel what forward while also bringing in these other people. So that makes a lot of sense. I also really appreciate how you mentioned like the skydiving thing and like jumping out of a plane, because I read that in your bio when I was researching you, and I was trying to figure out a way to like incorporate that into the interview while still making it topical. But I actually think it's a perfect metaphor, and it's really like a perfect analogy for taking that leap of faith and like starting your own business when so much is just, unknown and undetermined in these crazy times, especially right after COVID. And I think you just, that was a perfect way to incorporate that. So I really appreciate that. So can you also talk about, I'm sure it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows starting the business, the difficulties and the sort of unexpected challenges that come with starting a business?
I think I mentioned this in a previous interview I was doing, which was like, I was reading this book called The One Thing. It's a really great book by Gary Keller that's like focused on, if you could figure out the one thing every day that you need to do, that by doing it, you would essentially eliminate or make everything easier for yourself. Like, how would you do it, right? And so like this sort of mindset has always been like in the back of my mind, and trying to figure out, okay, there's 100 things to do every day, but what is the one thing that you can do that by doing it, you've sort of almost eliminated the other 15 things or 200 and sort of brought yourself to focus, to laser focus. And so I think that's one of the biggest challenges. It's really figuring out what you're valuing, right? For me, I think of my values as an extension of Real Resilience's values, right? Advocacy, accessibility, and really integrity. And so thinking about, what is the impact that I want to have, and, how big is what I'm doing right now going to contribute to that? And can I make it through this? And it's also like celebrating small wins.
And you keep talking about, just this focus on self-improvement, not only in the business world, but from also like a mental wellness perspective. Can you talk a little bit about sort of the unique challenges that a neurodivergent person has or can experience in the business world? And in your experience, like, how have you noticed, I guess, big businesses treating people that are neurodivergent, and how do you sort of coach them to approach that situation? Because not every workplace is going to be the same, and not every workplace is going to treat it with equal importance, I suppose. So how do you go about navigating that and giving advice for that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with really assessing where the organization is, and really getting an understanding for where they want to go. And I think, before beginning work, there's just like sort of that intake assessment moment of, hey, where do you want to go? What is important to you? And how can I help you get there? And so essentially there may be organizations that already have a lot of awareness around the neurodivergent population, and have employee resource groups, right, that are already thinking about this and bringing it to the forefront and saying, hey, how can we support our employees in small and big ways, right? Like a small way would just be to have, me come in as a guest speaker and share about what neurodiversity is, how it shows up, and, what can maybe potentially your coworker be going through, or what are you going through?
So I feel like I've kind of been on like a sort of a negative trail here with like talking about the challenges. I think it's time to talk about some success. Can you share, a success story from one of your clients who've grown their business or have just grown personally through your platform?
Yeah, I think one of the greatest moments is just hearing how folks feel seen, feel witnessed, and feel even more courageous to take on what they're looking to do, whether they're growing in a company, whether they're starting something new, but really beginning to identify their deeper values and connect with them. It's just always it's just beautiful to see. And the aha moments, right, when someone's like, this is exactly what I want to lean into, this moment, this feeling, that we, through questioning, through understanding another level of what they want to see in their own life, right? And just, me being here again to hold up a mirror and, help you or support you in that journey.
So you talked a little bit earlier about, the role of your family, right? And sort of the lack of acknowledgement that can come at home. How is that today? How does your family sort of view this business that you've grown it into? Is it sort of like an "I told you so," or is it more of like just a "I told you so" sort of moment?
I think it varies. Like I think I've spoken and made jest about my husband, who's like, "Are you sure you're gonna be okay? Like, sounds like you got a lot going on." And then him being like, "Oh wow, you built something from nothing. Like, that's pretty amazing, right?" And I think it's just like those type of waves. My parents are, like, we're working class, and having a business, or there was no like previous knowledge to impart, right, of like how to do this, or where to start, or what do I even need, or is it even possible, right? So I think my parents are just proud at this point that I've made again something out of nothing, which is just something I'm super just grateful to be able to continue to do.
And you should be proud. It's incredible. And I love like the business idea. Like I love this. This has definitely been like one of my favorite businesses to research up to this point, just because I think it's just so important. And it's one of those things where it's like, it just makes so much sense for it not to just be the norm. I don't know. It just always kind of clicks with me.
Thanks, Dorian.
Of course. Oh my God, it's so cool. I love this. This has been one of my favorite interviews so far. So don't mess it up. So can you talk a little bit?
No pressure.
No pressure at all. Can you talk about the importance of advertising as well? That's something that's come up in almost all of my interviews thus far, and it's something that a lot of companies really value, especially these startup entrepreneurial deals where it's so important to sell oneself and to sort of leave that lasting impact on, potential customers, potential investors, potential anyone really. So can you just talk a little bit about how you advertise not only the company, but how you advertise yourself as sort of like the spokesperson for Real Resilience?
Oh my goodness. Sure. So I got to be honest, I've not put any money into paid advertising. That's just not my way. Again, like, remember I said that, like, one of my business coaches, like, this is a spiritual journey about who you really are. And I'm just not, I'm very much a people person. And so I will go into networking spaces, and talk about what I'm up to, really authentically engage someone about what they're into. Are there places where we can support one another? I think there was this like really interesting, when I figured out you could, like, I don't know, I forget, there's like a name for it, but basically it's like people advertising, like word of mouth, sort of like word of mouth, but there's like an actual term for it, like relationship advertising or something, or marketing, where you're not like making ads, but you're just really easily going into networking spaces, talking about yourself, sharing what you're up to, how can we collaborate, is there a connection here, if not, like, how can I highlight or lift what you're doing. And so because I'm very much a New Yorker, I can talk to anyone, literally spark conversation on the train, waiting at a stoplight, like anywhere, right? So this is just, my personality was naturally like giving to, hey, I'm really easy to talk to, and it's really easy for me to share what I'm up to. I think one of the things that was more tricky or felt different was like when I was being introduced to like other people who would potentially be clients, and it was like known, like, you are targeting this person. I think that's when I got nervous. But when I was like talking to a room full of people who were also just like doing business and like we're also entrepreneurs and professionals, is fine. But it's like when you're targeting, right? And you're like, okay, so now what do I want to say to make them, question me in a certain way that will lead to, hey, can we get that one-on-one?
Who are some entrepreneurs or business leaders that inspire you?
Oh yeah, this is a great question. So I am deeply inspired by the founder and CEO of Luminary, Kay Luzio. She's been such an amazing mentor and support, and she grew this community-led organization focused on women entrepreneurs, be a part of this space, and also have the ability to put on programming, which is where I'm doing the founder support group, which is virtual, so anyone can come. Remember to email me. Look. Yeah, she's just great, and just such a great inspiration. And the many events that I've been to there, where I get this moment of like, I don't know, just such a lift in energy when you're around people who are doing the thing that you want to do, and like sort of throwing energetic inspiration back and forth in a room. So that's one person. Another person that I guess is an entrepreneur that I admire is Aiko Bethia. She's also a coach. She actually is like connected to Brene Brown's, I guess, empire at this point, Dare to Lead. And, really, I think my first introduction to like, what are coaches? Like, started with Brene, and then, Aiko Bethia is a person of color who sort of identifies as a leader in, sort of one of Brene's programs or leadership development programs. So that's someone I also looked to. So yeah, those are like two people that I can name. right off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what's one fun fact about you that most people don't know?
Oh my gosh, that I like corny jokes.
Really? Do you have any? I don't want to put you on the spot. Feel free to say no. Do you have any off the top of your head? Because you can't just say that and not back it up.
Sure. So, okay, I love corny jokes so much. Okay, Noria, that my son created a joke book, okay, full of corny jokes, okay? And so one of them that I contributed to, that I've had this joke forever, I don't know where it came from. Are you ready? Are you going to engage?
I'll try my best.
All right, so what happens when Pink Panther steps on an ant?
I don't know what.
Do you know Pink Panther though?
I do know Pink Panther, yes.
Okay. Didn't, 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 didn't.
All right, well, at least you didn't lie. I do appreciate a good corny joke. At least you did not lie. I love this. This is the most fun one. I feel like this is definitely like the most like unhinged episode of the Next Gen podcast that we've done so far. But I love it. I love it. That's hilarious. No one's told the joke like mid interview before, so that's also like a first for us.
I'm gonna laugh so hard at myself. I don't even know. Can I take myself seriously?
Oh my God. Oh, this is too much. All right. And this is the last one for the quick pitch section. If you could describe yourself in just one word, what would that be?
Tenacious.
So that is pretty much all I have question-wise for you today. Would you like to do more shout outs, remind us of some of those dates, maybe where we can find the books and where we can find some of your other amazing products?
Yeah, Stories, Our History is available on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. I've done a host of other podcast links that I think I've shared. I love talking about neurodiversity and how, as a coach, there's just so much to offer others. And yeah, just looking forward to staying in touch and really championing anyone out there who is, moving through what neurodiversity means for them.
Kelly, thank you so much, just for taking the time to talk with us today. I really appreciate just overall the honesty. This has definitely been like the funniest episode. I think like the most I've laughed in any of our episodes thus far. It's definitely been one of my favorites. I love your company. I love what you're doing. I love this conversation. Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to come out here. And I wish you the best in all future endeavors.